Hi, I'm Kristen Oaks White. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together each week. My partner Avery Davidson is out today taking care of his kids who are a little under the weather, and we certainly hope they get better soon. Well, the fight to control the feral hog population in Louisiana has hit another roadblock this week. Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry Dr. Mike Strain has indefinitely delayed the use of kaput, a poison designed to kill hogs after multiple feedings. Strain's decision came after video evidence of black bears breaking into feeders designed for hogs. The Louisiana Feral Hog Task Force met just prior to the decision, where task force member and state wildlife veterinarian Jim LaCour presented information on kaput. The poison's active ingredient is warfarin, the same blood thinner found in medicines like Coumadin. In large doses, it can be fatal to humans and cause birth defects in fetuses. The chance of this happening by consuming meat from hogs is remote, however, and something still being studied by the LSU AgCenter. The main point of contention of kaput is the effect on black bears, which were only recently delisted from the endangered species list. LaCour said that they were literally only 3 or 4 bears away from going back on that list, which would waste thousands of taxpayer dollars used to fight for their survival. It's a catch-22 though, as feral hogs are threatening black bear habitat through sheer overpopulation. In addition, the crop damage these hogs are doing threatens the survival of farmers' income, as they can destroy entire fields. If the hogs go into cities, they can present a threat to people's lives as well. Kaput was expected to be ready for use this summer, but Commissioner Strain explained it's being shelved until further studies can be made.
Effective today, we have canceled the registration of kaput, feral hog bait made by Symmetrics, because it came to our attention upon the study that the feeding system has a problem in the fact that bears can get into the feeding system. And so what we have done is that really pending a better feeder, we've canceled the registration of kaput.
Symmetrics, the company that makes kaput, has begun training pesticide dealers in Louisiana. They, in turn, would have trained people to use the product after they were licensed by the Department of Ag. While the product could see use in the future, for now, it's staying off the shelf. More on this story can be found on our website at twilatv.org. Well, the 2017 Louisiana legislative session is underway. Legislators must fill a $440 million budget hole for the next fiscal year and then prepare for what Governor John Bel Edwards calls the fiscal cliff. That's in July of 2018, when the so-called clean penny 1-cent sales tax comes to an end. At that point, state government will face a $1.8 billion deficit. Governor Edwards proposed a tax plan to avoid the fiscal cliff. House Bill 628, filed by Representative Sam Jones, would create the commercial activity tax. According to Edwards, it would be a tax on gross receipts rather than profit. In his speech to a joint session of the legislature, Governor Edwards defended his plan.
We cannot continue down the path we are currently on. It is unsustainable for our state. And we can't keep moving the goalposts because it might be politically advantageous. If there's a better idea out there, let's see it. Don't hide it. Let's debate.
To keep up with what's going on at the state capitol, you can sign up for the Louisiana Farm Bureau's Grassroots Government newsletter. You'll find a link on our website at twilatv.org. A couple of weeks ago, Louisiana farmers and ranchers took a tour across the beautiful state of Arkansas. On the trip, they got to see many unique beef operations. And this week, TWILA's Carl Wiggers shows us how one family farm has overcome tough times on their farm with some creative thinking, community support, and a lot of hard work.
When you pull up to Big D Ranch, there isn't much to distinguish this place from many others in Arkansas. Most farms here have poultry houses that are surrounded by beef cattle. Philip and Beth DeSalvo built these poultry houses in 2003. This allowed Philip to come home and make a living on the farm. The poultry houses paid the bills, but these ultra-black cattle are what Philip loves even more.
So I truly have a passion for what I do here, and it is the bovine cow.
Like many in Arkansas, Philip always kept beef cattle in the pastures surrounding his houses. However, 5 years after these poultry houses were built, things changed quickly for the DeSalvo family.
In May of 2008, we had an F4 tornado come through our property. And then in August of 2008, our chickens were approximately 7 weeks old. and we would normally keep them for about 9 weeks. And at about that 7-week mark, they came and they told us that more or less they handed us our pink slip. They said, after this batch of chickens, it's over, it's done, and y'all will not be getting chickens anymore.
So at the time that 08 went, we were very small seed stock, primarily commercial cattle. So we really needed a place to background our cattle to put more efficient gains on them and stuff.
Philip now had a growing ultra black herd and some empty poultry houses. That is when he decided to think outside of the box.
Doing a lot of studying in the northern part of the U.S. with their hoop barns and stuff, I decided what better thing to transfer into a hoop barn than the existing poultry houses that we had. So we transitioned them a little bit and made them more suitable for that.
We can wean our calves in them. The kids will put their show calves in them. We've utilized the one. We've got our working facilities under roof with lights now, which is a huge plus.
The DeSalvos also host their annual sale each fall right here in a poultry house. This hasn't been the most ideal path, but it's the path that brought Philip back to his passion.
It's been a slow growth since then, but we've maintained to be on our track. It just ramped up how fast we got there.
This plan Philip is following began way before these poultry houses were even built.
It's not something that's happened overnight. It's something I've worked on since the hell I graduated high school. I mean, it's something I've been working on for 20 years. The downfall of Pilgrim leaving us was just put it in a fast forward, is all that did. The plans were always there.
Philip said the ultra black Brangus cattle that he breeds are really gaining a lot of popularity in Arkansas. He said that 5 years ago his neighbors were asking what an ultra black was, and today those same neighbors are adding those genetics into their own herd. Well, that stop happened on the last day of the trip, but one of the first stops on the trip was to the Arkansas Farm Bureau office. There, the group of Louisiana farmers and ranchers were greeted by Arkansas President Randy Veach. He gave an overview of the state's agricultural scene and previewed a few of the stops the group would later make in the trip. Veach says that trips like these are important because it allows farmers to get outside of their own state and build relationships with their neighbors.
What we'll find is most of the time that we'll have some different issues, but we'll also have a lot of common issues. And what's important for us now in agriculture, if we're going to keep agriculture strong and sustainable, then we have to be profitable, and we need to all work together. So we got to have discussions, we got to be together, we got to learn from each other. And we can do that with these trips because it's going to take all of us working together to keep agriculture going.
Veach mentioned that our states share in the huge economic impact that agriculture has in each of our states. He and the rest of the staff at Arkansas Farm Bureau were great hosts to our group all week. And to see more pictures from the visit and the rest of the trip, head over to our website at twilatv.org. And Kristen, I cannot say enough about these trips. I went on the Mississippi trip last year and this trip this year, and one of the things that I love about it is you get to see some very unique operations. You get to see some great scenery, and my favorite is the food. Great food.
I like that y'all got to see a wide variety of different breeds of cattle. You saw Angus, Brangus, and Charolais, it looked like, so it was a good experience of all the different types of cattle.
It is. You see a wide variety, and also I cannot say enough about the hospitality of the Farm Bureau there in Arkansas. The membership there, the local board members from Conway County fed us some steaks that I think were bigger than every plate that was there. It was pretty nice.
Well, it looked like a great trip. Carl Wiggers, awesome stories. Well, it could be the most picturesque farm owned by the LSU AgCenter, but soon there may not be a cattle herd at the Hill Farm Research Station in Claiborne Parish. The LSU AgCenter announced last week that it plans to sell off most of the cattle at the station and eventually end cattle research at the farm. This comes just days after research and extension agents conducted this artificial insemination class at the Hill Farm Research Station. This is where ranchers learn how to perform artificial insemination so that they can have better control of the genetics in their herd. And better genetics means better beef for you.
The ability to bring in the superior genetics into their herd improves the quality of their offspring, whether they want to keep them as replacement heifers or develop their own bulls. But ultimately, a lot of them are going to be developing calves that end up going to the feedlot, into the market, to the dinner plates. And that's where it helps the consumer. We're able to improve our quality from a carcass quality standpoint as well, just as fast as any other traits that a producer may be looking for.
Sadly, this kind of research will not continue much longer at the Hill Farm. The LSU AgCenter plans to sell off the herd over the next 6 months, and about 640 acres of land at Hill Farm will be leased for grazing or hay production. The LSU AgCenter will continue to conduct cattle research at the Red River Research Station in Bossier City. Well, if you're looking for the freshest produce, community-supported agriculture is one of the best ways to get it. Neil Lawson went to one CSA farm in Central where they're not only growing produce, but lessons in how to be an entrepreneur.
If you want fresh produce delivered to your door in the Baton Rouge area, the best place to find it is community-supported agriculture programs like Luckett Farms. And if you're an innovative woman looking to be a better entrepreneur, Luckett Farms has something to offer as well. Casey Luckett played host to the Farm Bureau Women's Leadership Committee, who came to see all this beautiful produce, as well as find out how someone with no ag background started a CSA that has seen as many as 500 members.
If you would have told me that I was going to be a farmer or own a farm, I would have told you had lost your mind.
WLC Chair Denise Canatella says they adopt a farmer like Luckett to help support them, but it's also a benefit to the Women's Leadership Committee.
They educate us on how they got into this area of agriculture, and sometimes if we're lucky they'll let us take part and help them prepare their boxes or work in the field a little bit and just teach us about that different area that we may not know about.
I don't want to overwhelm people with stuff. Like, I want you to get enough stuff, and every family is different. Like, Denise might cook every single night, or Miss Joy, I know she cooks 3 times a day. I mean, I've been to her house. I know she cooks 3 times a day.
A great thing about the Lucketts is it's open to anyone. Delivery for their products is only in a certain area, but community-supported agriculture is for everyone. Not only are the Lucketts growing, but this is an emerging trend in agriculture that is actually seeing more new farmers than ever before, while all of us get more fresh products than we ever have been. For This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Neil Lawson.
The Farm Bureau Women's Leadership Committee also visited with the Louisiana Legislature as part of their program to develop leadership for rural and farm women. For more on them or the Lucketts, you can visit our website at twilatv.org. Well, still to come, the NRCS preaches use of conservation funds, but are they practicing it? Avery went out to one place where they're putting their money where their mouth is. Plus, the freshest tomatoes around. AJ Sabine gives us the goods coming up.
Before you sweeten your morning joe, before the icing on the cake, before the sugar hits the shelf, it begins with a family of sugarcane farmers dedicated to growing Louisiana for more than 220 years. The Sugarcane Growers of Louisiana, making life sweeter, naturally.
Sugarcane, sweet sugarcane.
I now hope they're fighting today.
I hope they are. Put a Dorito on here. Loose.
I got a fish, I got a fish.
Find your place in the country and the lender who can get you there. Find Louisiana Land Bank. Financing for country homes, recreational property, farms and ranches, and agribusiness.
The Natural Resources Conservation Service has 38 different programs and activities available to help you with your land. That's according to the NRCS website. But how many NRCS employees actually practice what they preach and take advantage of conservation programs on their own land? TWILA's Avery Davidson found one in North Louisiana who has been doing so for more than 30 years.
If you build it, they will come. That's the famous line from the movie Field of Dreams. It may also be true for Field of Dreams Farm in Webster Parish. You see, this beautiful pond and this grassy field were not here when Cindy Beard inherited the land in 1999. Most of it was clear-cut forest. This grassy field was a gravel pit.
It had dispersive clays here, so every time it would rain, there was a lot of water coming off these hills, and that water would just wash all this sediment and all, and it would go right on. It's only a quarter of a mile to Lake Bistineau, so it would all get in the lake and cause a lot of muddy water.
18 inches of topsoil and 17 years later.
It's just healed up great. It doesn't wash anymore. The water's clear. Look how pretty the water is.
Beard built it, and this king snake came, along with a few ducks and lots of other wildlife. But how did Beard know how to improve this land? For the last 37 years, she's worked as a soil conservation technician for the Natural Resources Conservation Service. Everywhere you look at Field of Dreams Farm, you'll find land changed by an NRCS program.
That cross fence I put in, that's part of our EQIP program.
And nearby, this rock pad.
This is one of our good practices that we preach right here, is putting these things in to keep the erosion and the gullies and things from starting.
All of these rocks at the base of this drainage pipe, another NRCS program.
I saw that these are good practices, things that save soil, helps the environment, encourages wildlife, and I mean, I wanted to do it too here on my place and improve it, because this was a clear cut when I started here, and planting grass and cross fencing, all those things were, you know, going to help me too. So I got involved and was able to do it here too.
I see success. I see a lot of what NRCS, what we strive to help our customers and landowners do every day, and that's conservation.
Sarah Trishell is the district conservationist for Webster and Claiborne parishes. She says Beard's use of NRCS programs gives her credibility when speaking with landowners.
When she gets questions, it's really easy for her, because she says, well, let me tell you, these are your options, but this is what I do and this is what works. And I've done it. This is what works on my place. You may want to try this, because she actually practices what she preaches.
Yes, baby, come here.
This almost became Beard's full-time practice.
This is what I ride. That's my diva.
With such a love for the camera, I think you can see how Diva got her name. And like a diva, after 37 years of working for NRCS, Beard was about to exit the stage and retire.
And so one day there in the office, we were like, let's just flip a coin. Let's just, see if it's, and Sarah came up with, well, if it's heads, you'll stay. If it's tails, you go ahead and retire. Well, she gave me the quarter, and I flipped it, and it was heads.
And I said it had to be my quarter. And that's when I went and made sure that it was always going to fall in our favor.
Beard still carries around that homemade two-headed quarter.
Anyway, I just took that as a sign to stay, and I'm glad I did.
So I guess the saying could be, if you build it, they will stay, at least for a couple more years. In Webster Parish, I'm Avery Davidson for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Sarah Trishell may have kept Beard from retiring, but that is not stopping her from moving on. Trishell is taking a position at the state NRCS office in Alexandria, but says she's going to stay very close with Beard. If you would like to learn more about how the NRCS can help you on your land, visit our website at twilatv.org. Well, it's the flavor that compels most folks to visit farmers markets every spring to get the first pick of heirloom tomatoes. For one tomato grower in West Feliciana Parish, he has turned his hobby tomato garden into a thriving ag enterprise.
West Feliciana Parish tomato grower Malcolm Tucker is a soft-spoken, hands-on kind of guy. However, his crop of Creole and heirloom tomatoes speak volumes. Tucker, along with his sweetheart Annette Barton, supplies some of the most sought-after tomatoes in South Louisiana.
Well, I started out going to the farmers market in New Orleans and met chefs, and sort of realized that it was more fun to just go to the actual restaurant and meet the chef.
Tucker attributes his success to his ability to produce high-quality tomatoes during the winter. Most importantly, it's the relationships that he's developed with more than 15 New Orleans chefs that have grown his business.
Oh, they're just good guys to know, and the thing that really is gratifying is they appreciate these tomatoes. They really like to serve them, they're proud of them, they advertise them.
A visit to his greenhouse reveals why his chef patrons want his produce. Tucker grows several varieties, including cherry and a variety imported from the Czech Republic.
Quasimodo is a new tomato that is very popular with the chefs. It has an heirloom look, and they like it very much.
In addition to his New Orleans clientele, Tucker supplies tomatoes to a growing list of grocery stores and restaurants in the Baton Rouge area.
People ask me often, when are the tomatoes going to be ready? You know, some people really do anticipate getting the tomatoes and getting them first.
Getting the freshest flavors to your table is what Malcolm Tucker is all about. In West Feliciana Parish, I'm A.J. Sabine for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Tucker has partnered with the LSU AgCenter to host a tomato test plot for research on heirloom varieties of tomatoes. The benefit of being host is that Tucker gets to keep and enjoy all of that delicious produce. For more information about next year's cook-off, log on to our website at twilatv.org. Last week, Grant Parish FFA members hosted nearly 300 third graders for their annual Ag Day. Here's a look at what their day looked like.
So they have third graders from all over the parish that are here today at Grant High School. And it's just a kind of opportunity for them to get introduced in a lot of different areas of agriculture. We've got electricians here, the National Forest Service, we've got horses here, petting zoo, all kinds of things. Ryan and I are here on behalf of the Grant Parish Farm Bureau talking about cattle branding today, just to give kids a little bit of idea of what goes into agriculture and try to spark a little interest in it.
Part of our goal as Farm Bureau members with the Ag in the Classroom program is to do anything and everything we possibly can to teach children about agriculture. So if we have to bring the farm to them, that's what we do. That's why we have events like this and we attend events like this, so we can get in front of them any way possible.
The earlier we can get kids interested in agriculture, the more opportunity we have to let that to sink in and get rooted in their lives.
For the third graders in our entire parish to come here every year, it leaves a lasting legacy. So not only that they learn about agriculture, something that they may grow up and be active in.
Just like we're teaching about branding and why we do it. That's just part of our story, our careers. I think just try to teach them a little bit about us and what we do.
Right now we like to create teachable moments where we take a lesson that grabs the kids' interest and kind of buries that down inside of them. The lesson that we're doing today we got through the Ag in the Class committee.
And we had the activity where they have to go, you've got different balls that are all look alike. But the only difference is that brand, they really kind of drives the point home to them, so they really start understanding the reason for it.
Organizations like the Farm Bureau that come and they inform them about, agriculture's place in Louisiana. And then we have animals and plants and learn how to make butter and cornmeal and just various agricultural things that they can really sink in and learn about that really helps them, understand, hey, agriculture is a big deal and it'd be great if, I could do that one day.
He's got the corn's still on the cob.
Tarpley says this event is successful because of the support of the teachers and administration in the community. Of course, an Ag Day like this would be nothing without the farmers that come to share what they do day in and day out. So thank you, Ryan and Will, and everyone else who took time out of your day to invest in some third graders in your community. Coming up after the break, a popular commercial goes viral. Planting with a prayer during the busiest time of year is trending on TWILA right after this.
To the fields tomorrow. He's gone a lot.
Now it's time for this week's Trending on TWILA to see what you guys were talking about on social media this week. It's planting season across the South and many farmers are posting their progress on social media. Several of you used our TWILA Planters hashtag this week and we love seeing all of your photos and videos. Zachary Payne tweeted a really cool picture from the seat of his tractor as he was planting soybeans. On Instagram, Robert Duncan posted this photo of a soybean sprouting with the caption, "There she is, that's what I was looking for this morning." Leslie Martin shared a few photos from her soybean field, including this very yummy shot of her hamburger lunch. On Facebook, Dustin Morris posted some amazing drone planting videos and said this is the first cotton he's planted in a few years. Kyle Dill shared this beautiful photo of his lush green cornfield with the caption, "This is why we labor and strive, because we have put our hope in the living God." Robbie Dunaway posted a series of photos on the Southern Farming Facebook page and said, "Today at 17 years old, I learned to plant cotton. I had a few mishaps, but hey, that's farming." Lots of folks shared his post and commented with words of encouragement. Thanks for sharing, Robbie, and keep up the good work. We need lots more farmers like you. Thanks for sharing all of your photos and videos with us. We love to see what you guys are doing across the state during this time of year. We leave you today with a great video titled "A Planting Prayer," produced by Beck's Seed Company for their Why I Farm campaign. In the video, a young child shares a prayer for farmers during planting season.
Thank you for my home. Thank you for our farm. And thank you for my family and friends.
The video has been shared nearly 20,000 times on Facebook alone. And if you want to see the entire video, we posted a link on our website at twilatv.org. Now moving on to this week's trending trivia. Last week our question was, which of these is the #1 fruit crop in the world? And the correct answer is B, bananas. This week's trivia question is, which man is considered the father of modern agriculture? Is it A, Cyrus McCormick, B, Eli Whitney, or C, Fritz Haber? To enter this week's trending trivia contest, simply log on to your Facebook or Twitter account and post your answer with the hashtag TWILA Trivia, or you can always submit your answer online at twilatv.org. Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Please join us again next week when Carl will bring you more highlights from his beef tour, including how research is helping us all enjoy a better tasting steak. In the meantime, you can watch all of our stories and check out a few extras, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and check out all of our stories on Snapchat. For all of us here at TWILA, thanks for watching. We hope to see you again right here next week.